Hello, welcome to class. It's our first day of the new semester, and I don't know about any of you, but do you ever feel a little bit of like holiday hangover? Not the alcohol induced kind, but the kind where you just feel like you're just not quite in the groove yet. I'm having one of those, and it seems like no matter how hard I plan and try to make sure I've got all my ducks in a row, I'm still looking for ducks come Monday morning, the first day back from a holiday break, right? Hey, I just wanted to introduce myself a little bit. If you've made it to this video right now, you have started the course correctly, and I'm hoping that these videos don't become too annoying. It's not that I really love seeing my face all over things. It's kind of embarrassing, actually. But I do know that sometimes in online learning, depending on your experiences with it in the past, it can feel a little bit like distance learning instead of a really integrated learning experience that is high energy and personal and has a warm touch. So we're going to try to make it that instead of the other kind that's sort of sterile and feels like you're on an island by yourself, because that's not good teaching. And we want to make this a good teaching, good learning experience. I am a teacher. I've been teaching for 20 years. I've taught mostly in language arts, although I've dabbled in lots of other things. I had a little stint as a choir director, world history teacher. You know how it is when you just get a job and you're just so glad you have a job that you don't care what you're teaching. Okay, you may not know that yet, but you know that in feeling and anticipation. Uh, Anyway, so I've been teaching for 20 years, mostly in language arts, mostly high school, although about 8 years ago I started the college scene, and I've really enjoyed that as well. I am a teacher who, by training and background, started out in a very similar situation that you're in perhaps right now. If you are a traditional student, I did my traditional stint at a small private institution in Indiana called Taylor University. Got my communication arts education degree and English minor there. Went on to teach, like I said, for about 13 years in a traditional setting, just like I thought I would do. And it was a great experience. We didn't even have, our school was so far behind back then that we didn't even have smart boards. I remember when they put the phone in my room. Like, I'm starting to sound old, right? I remember the first automobile. No, not quite that old. But anyway, we moved, made a big move to Central Ohio, to Columbus area. And in that move from Northwest Ohio to Columbus, I realized that that master's and 13 years of experience were what someone jokingly told me were called the golden handcuffs in education. And I needed to branch out and try something new. I'd always wanted to teach at college, so I came to Capital and several other institutions, started teaching like that, and ended up getting a teaching job full time at an online high school. Never thought I would like it, never thought I'd stick around. And 7 years later, guess what? I'm there still. What I learned through this whole experience and this transition is, first of all, as educators, we all know that we always have to be learners, but also that education is changing. And as much as we might hold on to some practices that worked for us because we maybe liked school, some of those aren't going to work anymore, and there are better ways to do things. So hopefully in this course, we can learn to rethink ways that we may have been taught ourselves, but to really look at ourselves and look at the whole education process in new ways. And I believe that the Nancy Atwell text that we're going to heavily rely on really does that. It's not that brand spanking new of a text, but it is a text that helps us to rethink traditional stage on the stage, teachers front and center, type of education, and break it down a little bit. And this is really important, I believe, in the language arts discipline or in the discipline of writing. And some of you might be coming from writing at from a history perspective or special ed perspective. Some of you might be teaching younger children, older children. Any way you slice it, most people, when I say I teach writing, they almost visibly cringe. Writing is not something that much of the population is drawn to as a warm and endearing thing. So, how can we engage our students as writers and create a classroom environment that is less teacher, more student centered, more individualized, to make each learner a better writer in their own way, in their own time, when we have maybe 30 students in our classroom? That's a tall order. So we're going to look at some ways that we can possibly do that. I'm excited about what I learn every year and about new practices that I put into play in my own classroom. And I'm excited about what you can do with yours. Online teaching is my bend right now, but actually I really think a blended classroom is the way to go. So as I show you some traditional face-to-face context types of information, I'm also going to give you some different readings about ways that you can integrate technology into your classroom. And one of those, honestly, is a great setup in the Nancy Atwell textbook. She talks a lot about in the middle textbook. She talks about writing workshop, and that's a great way to set up a blended classroom. And in fact, her methodology really lends well to what I think is the most effective. But it's not really about what I think. I really want you to see me put into practice what I'm preaching, and that is the information isn't going to be injected into you, and I want you to imitate what I do as I do, say as I say. I want you to really grapple and wrestle with new ideas and new ways of doing things, take risks, and be energized by the community that we create here in our online classroom. Okay, that's my little introduction. I am a teacher. I'm also a mom, and you'll see some other information about me on this page if you so choose to read it, but don't feel obligated. Again, not trying to feed any narcissism here, just trying to give you as much information as you possibly might need. I want to give you a little bit of the lay of the land and let you know that every week this video will exist to help you specifically on the content that is due for that week. So this is sort of my mini lecture for you for the week. I'm going to also bring in mini lectures from other sources, links, and people that I know to kind of enhance the course as well. So every week you're going to want to start with the announcements and watch this video, just like you're doing right now. This navigation tool gives you everything that you might need to know for this course, and yours might look a little bit different right now than what you're seeing right now. I get a slightly different view than you do. There's my family, a little bit about me. I always recommend starting with my syllabus because my syllabus is actually quite comprehensive. And again, this says writing fall 2014. I will update dates here shortly, but I wanted to get this video done out for you before I got that done. Okay, so these are all the important things that you might need to know about this class, and because you can read, I'm going to let you read on your own. As always, if you have any questions at all, my contact information is right here. This email comes right to my phone. You can text me, you can call me, you can email me, reach out in any way. Probably my first choice would be email, just because that's how I keep things compartmentalized in my life. And if you can't, if it's something more urgent or something where you need to have like a person actually talking to you in real time, feel free to use my cell phone. I am not on campus this semester, so do keep that in mind as well. This is truly an online experience for me as well. This is going to give you a little bit of a rundown of all of the let me highlight a few things as you read through on your own. All assignments are due Sunday at midnight unless otherwise given notice, and I really want you to look at that deadline very seriously as a professional or a future professional. That deadlines are very important in education. These are some tools we're going to be using regularly in the course. We're going to each week have a discussion board, a blog, and each unit will have a wiki portfolio that we use. Discussion boards are just that. They are a way to kind of get our feet wet on a topic, and you can shoot from the hip on discussion boards. Sometimes I'll say, hey, reference the readings or the videos from this week, but most of the time discussion board times are going to be more casual. I want them to be well developed, and I want it to be like an in-course conversation. So I want them to be academic. I want them to be using like conventional English and that kind of thing, but you can use your own personal examples, and you can give your opinions here, and you can ask questions, and this can kind of be a sorting out period for you. The discussion board will always be led by a specific prompt. It will also always require that you reply to 2 students. We'll have kind of a rotation with each unit, or each unit will be kind of like a 2-week rotation. And there will be the first week where you answer the discussion board, you reply to you answer the blog, and then the second week where you do replies to classmates, so that you have a 2-week time period to marinate on that information. While the discussion board is more off the cuff, the blog has the purpose of beginning to apply research and theory. So I do want you to bring in sources, and I do want you to cite them when you have the blog. The sources I'm speaking of will be provided for you in the class. It does not require outside research, but by all means, if you have something that's relevant that you want to bring in, you're welcome to do that. Again, first week of each little unit will have our response to the blog, and the second week will be 2 peer replies. The second week of the blog will require that you do one step of a wiki portfolio. The portfolio is going to roll into each of our portfolio contributions will end up being a full portfolio at the end of the course, which will be our final exam, and it won't sneak up on you. You'll have a little bit done every time. I'll give you feedback. You can go back and edit it, and then you'll roll it all together at the end. And the portfolio is a first-year writing teacher survival resource. So you can cater it to what age you're teaching, what subject area is your primary focus, but this is what the portfolio is going to be, and that will be your primary focus of your second week of each unit rotation. These are all some course requirements, my grading breakdown, and then this is the part that I think you're going to want to look at every week. The dates are incorrect here. I'll get you those correct dates soon. For this first week, here's what you're going. Our focus, our topic for the week is going to be learning to write and learning to teach writing, as well as the role of the teacher and structuring the writing classroom. And in the Atwell text, we'll be reading chapters 1 and 3. And then we'll also be reading an article from Faculty Focus, which admittedly is actually, the audience is directed at college professors, but I really think they have some good things to share. So you'll see some of their readings thrown in as throughout the course. And that'll be chapter 4 and 5 in the Atwell text. Again, here is the deadline schedule. In week 1 of each unit, Sunday at midnight, you're going to be responsible for doing the readings and creating your initial discussion and blog posts. Week 2, Sunday at midnight, your replies are due as well as your wiki development. So what are you doing this week? You're reading through these items, and I'm going to show you one more place where those show up to make it more clear. And you're going to be making your initial responses to each of these activities. Let's review them really quickly. This one will be a one-hit wonder. I just want to get to know you all and create that classroom environment. This is an introduction piece. It's going to be in the discussion board, and it's called View from My Desk, and it's a way of you introducing yourself to the class, and I'll participate in that as well. The discussion board for this week is to share your most memorable writing assignment, good or bad. What do you remember about the process and the product? In other words, your process as a writer and what you produced at the end. It could be something recent. It can be something from the, clear back in time, and you don't need to reply the first week. This first week is just about answering this. We're going to look at ourselves as writers as we go to teach writing. The blog this week is going to ask you to describe your ideal classroom. You're going to use readings and videos from this week, and also consider Atwell's comment that creating a context for writers to develop into writers. What does that mean? What practices speak to you as her ideas and from the classroom readings and videos that you think you might want to use? And you're starting to kind of flesh out this idea of what do I want out of my classroom? Okay, I'm going to take just a moment and take you into the classroom to see where else you can find all of these particular materials to get started, okay? Okay, here we go. A couple things then. After you look at your syllabus, you might want to print the schedule out, but you don't have to. It's always going to be there. Here's course rubrics for the discussion board and the blog, just so you know my standards for both of those items. I'll let you look on those on your own. I don't like to read to students online, okay, unless it's something really meaningful. There's 2 sections. There's the read and watch and the write and apply. In read and watch, and again, I'll update these dates for you, and I'm so sorry those aren't done for you right this second. I had a miscommunication on the starting date of this classroom. But I would like you to do all of these things for the Unit 1. These are all of the readings that are not in the textbook. So the faculty focus reading and the 2 videos that I'd like you to consider. And then when you come down to here, all you have to do is click on each of these items to do your work. So for Unit 1, Student Lounge is just a place where you can ask each other questions. I'd encourage you to use that. Introductions, discussion board, and then blog. That's what you're doing for this week. I hope this helps, and I look forward to working with you and getting to know you throughout this course. Keep questions coming, and here we go.